trustees. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, undivided, indivisible, liberty and justice.
We'll now take a roll call of the trustees.
Devin Conley,
Anna Reed,
Lisa Henry.
Charles DeFazio. Let the record reflect that 4 trustees are present. Trustee Lambert will be coming shortly. I'll move on to approval of the agenda. Any questions from trustees?
Can I ask that I just have a couple of comments or reports for the board, if we could do that right before consent, after closed session?
If there are members of the public who would like to address the board regarding this item, please approach the podium. Oh, yes.
Do you want to approve the agenda now?
This is on the agenda, right? We take comments on public comment on the agenda. Okay, seeing as there are none, any comments from trustees? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Let the record reflect that the motion moved by trustee Conley and seconded by trustee Henry. 4 of us trustees voted to approve the agenda as presented, and trustee Lambert was not present. Hand it back. All right, so now is the time for members of the public who would like to address the board regarding closed session agenda items to do so. Today's closed session has 1 item. To address the board, please approach the podium and submit a yellow card online, or not taking online comments. I'll wait to see how many speakers we have and allocate time accordingly. Sorry, seeing 2 in person, or seeing 3 in person on the closed session agenda. Or? All right, I'll allocate 3 minutes. We have 4, okay. So now we get 3 minutes for each. Do we have a timer? No. Okay. First is Itek Celik. You can begin.
Yes, good afternoon, trustees. I am troubled and concerned by the possibility of buying the staff housing project at 777 Middlefield. Please stop throwing good money after bad. Stop relying on Rudolph's people who got us into this trouble. Stop mortgaging our children's future. The staff housing project was initially budgeted to not exceed $56 million, which turned into $89 million, which now is turning into more than $140 million with the possibility of the $53 million purchase. And that $140 million does not include funds spent out of our children's main educational budget, the general fund, for expenses related to staff housing. For example, we paid Phil Henderson's law firm $38,368.50 just for the staff housing project for the month of November 2024. Estimating that cost of 10 months out of a year would total almost $400,000, enough to pay for 2 full-time teachers and 1 full-time teacher's aide to help bring about 100% literacy to our schools. The number I pulled is from the February CPRA. Next, please slow down. Use experts who are not part of Rudolph's team that negotiated and continued this money pit and even presented the housing project only 1 year ago as a case study at the CASBO conference in Palm Springs. Chief Business Officer Westover's trip cost the district over $2,000. The cost of attorney Phil Henderson's trip was redacted in the requested CPRA invoices. This money, again, comes directly out of our own school budgets. As board members, own up to your responsibilities. You have the power to vote no. You have the power to open up the housing topic to the public portion of this board meeting and only leave the price negotiation to the closed portion of the meeting. Earlier, former Superintendent Rudolph tried to use Cooper Park as the site for the staff housing. The community made their voices heard and said no to that idea. Then what happened? At the February 13th board meeting this year, Trustee Devin Conley offered up Cooper Park as collateral for the COP loan necessary to buy the housing project. It's on video. She suggested CBO Westover, quote, "Could we secure it against Cooper Park?" Trustee Conley continues to disregard our community voices. And because the topic is not in the open meeting, we, the public, do not know what property is being offered as collateral for the housing load. On top of all of this, spending the additional $53 million, a running total of $140 million, results in canceling other Measure T projects sorely needed by our schools. Stop throwing good money after bad. Stop relying on Rudolph's people who got us into this trouble. Stop mortgaging our children's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mohan G.
Thank you, Trustee DeFazio. Good evening. Let me raise this a little bit. Everybody hear me okay? Okay. I'm going to read the email that I sent to the trustees today for consideration. So, dear Superintendent Bear and Mountain View Westman School District trustees, 6 years ago, former Superintendent Rudolph and the Board of Trustees came to us with a proposal to spend $56 million of taxpayer money to build a new teacher housing facility. The community was assured it would be cost neutral, that teachers would be able to afford the rents, and that a majority of teachers would be eligible to live there. We were assured the district staff and trustees had done their homework. Trustee Conley and others proceeded to hype up the project through press releases, photo ops, newspaper op-eds, even hiring a PR firm to promote the project. CBO Westover went and gave a talk at a conference as an expert on affordable housing, which she's not qualified to do. All the while, everyone failed to provide any meaningful fiscal oversight on this pending financial disaster. What we ended up with is a $90 million money pit where most teachers either can't afford to rent, aren't eligible to rent, or they don't want to live there. We can't even properly manage the laundry, the mail, or the trash. And we have this completely unsustainable 55-year ground lease, which somehow was a staggering oversight that everyone missed. Now you come back to the public with 24 hours public notice during summer break, disallowing comments over Zoom. Now announcing in a single meeting, you're going to decide to pay $53.5 million without giving the community any idea of what your long-term plan is to get out of this mess. Adding insult to injury, you plan to make this decision in a single meeting with no opportunity for the community to fully understand, discuss, or weigh in on long-term financial ramifications. To use the old adage, fool us once, shame on you, fool us twice, shame on us. Simply put, we have no trust left for the staff of the board to make sound financial decisions on our behalf. The events of the past year have made it absolutely clear that the community must act as a watchdog over your financial decisions. The fact that the negotiations are being led by Rebecca Westover and Phil Henderson, the two people who got us into this mess, makes the plan even that much more dubious. If there's a larger vision or plan that you have, you owe it to the community to provide details on that plan. You also owe it to explain all the other alternatives that you explored before spending this $53.5 million. Let me remind you, you're not spending your own money. You're spending the community's hard-earned dollars, money that belongs to our children, our families, and our neighbors. To ask us to approve this massive expenditure without providing a clear long-term roadmap is frankly offensive.
Thank you. If you send your full comments and you said in email, we'll have read them. So thank you. Next speaker is David Geeson.
Right, well pronounced. I am David Geeson. I'm a teacher at the German International School here in Mountain View, teach civics and U.S. history. And I want to speak in a curricular regard, something more philosophically related to this topic. And that is the question of what is community property? It's a question I begin all my U.S. history classes with the Declaration of Independence. What is meant by the right, the inalienable right to life. Well, our class consensus that it must mean the right to use the earth. And that means that's community property. And that means that the location value, the land value of planet Earth, of the land underneath Mountain View, in a philosophical sense, in the context of the Declaration of Independence, must mean the land value of Mountain View belongs to we the people. And that is in fact what constitutes the generative income for the people of San Francisco, and in this case of Mountain View. So I'm inviting you to consider adjusting curriculum here in Mountain View in the public schools to reflect the Declaration of Independence's question. It's a challenge to us to inquire after what is community property. And I don't expect this to touch on the immediate issue here at hand, but I'm much more concerned about, again, the deep down, as I've termed it, philosophical basis of our relationship to place of land. And that is in particular the question at hand, but I'm not addressing that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, no further speakers. Okay. Then at 5:11 p.m., we will now adjourn to closed session.
Okay, we will reconvene open session at 5:39 PM. There was no reportable action taken during closed session. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any comments from the trustees, questions?
I just had, sorry, you missed, I was just going to provide an update of a couple of items. First, as you know, the district entered into a housing loan with the former superintendent as a condition of his contract. I wanted to let you know that this residence is now under contract for purchase at the anticipated sale price of 1.6 million. It's estimated that escrow will close at the end of this month, and we expect the district to recoup the full amount of the loan plus a little over $101,000 in interest. Plus, if there's any appreciation in the valuation of the home, that would be split as per the agreement 60-40. So that I wanted to update you on that. I know there's been some questions about that. And then wanted to just let you know about personnel changes. I'm happy to announce that with your approval tonight, our team of Graham administrators will now be complete with the addition of Dr. Naomi Ansaldo as the new assistant principal. She'll be serving with Principal Benavides and Assistant Principal Kearns. Dr. Ansaldo began her teaching career nearly 20 years ago in Santa Clara High School. Since then, she has worked at Santa Clara Unified, most recently as the Vice Principal of Secondary Summer School Programs and in lead roles with English learners. She's served on a variety of committees, professional development and accreditation efforts, and we look forward to introducing her to our community as school begins. Additionally, I'm pleased to announce a few staffing changes here at the district office. These changes reflect a thoughtful effort to align our administrators' unique strengths with the evolving needs of our district and our students. Ms. Tara Victor Watan will be the new Director of Early Learning and After School Programs. She'll join the Ed Services Department beginning next week. She'll oversee MVWSD Plus, the ELOP program, the Transitional Kindergarten Program, and Special Education Preschool. These areas have grown significantly due to student needs and state requirements. Ms. Watan is looking forward to returning to early childhood education, the place where her teaching journey first began. So we want to congratulate you and thank you. It's important to know that while the Director of Early Learning and After School Programs is a new position, it is not an additional administrative position. Ms. Watan will be taking on a portion of duties resulting from an administrative vacancy recently in the Special Education Department of a coordinator. Ms. Watan will be taking on a portion of duties, will not backfill the current Assistant Superintendent position. This will reduce the total number of assistant and associate superintendents in Mountain View Wisman to 2, which I think is the most appropriate number for a district of this size. With that change, we look forward to welcoming Ms. Erin Green. She will be the Director of Human Resources beginning next week. She comes from Los Altos School District, where she was the Director of Student and Staff Services for the last 9 years and the principal at Covington Elementary before that. She was also the principal of Willow Glen Middle School in San Jose Unified for 2 years. And she'll work closely with Swati Dagger, who oversees our student services functions such as enrollment, absenteeism, student behavior, and middle school course schedules. These team members bring valuable experience, and I am really excited to bring them on board in their new roles. So I wanted to update you on that as well. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, move to the consent agenda. Any questions from the board on the consent agenda? Don't see any. Time for public comment. I see one speaker right now, former trustee Nelson.
Yes. Thank you for that report. Because I sent something to the trustees and you earlier in the day when I saw this on there. And I thought I wish this had been explained, what was being done, what was being added, what it changed for the positions that you have, the board, are the ones that decide whether there is going to be a new position or not. That's what you vote on when you're voting on the every time you vote on a personnel report, it actually isn't just a report. It's also authorizing new positions to be created. So when he talked about a position of assistant or associate superintendent being morphing into something else, that's to me a good sign that we're getting more right sizing the part that you pay for out of all our revenue that you get from our houses and et cetera. That it's less of it, hopefully will be going to general administration. And what I didn't hear was anything being done for pupil services, which is the thing I'm now going to be beating on you guys as the people who set the public policy to get that corrected. So we get the percentage of general administration down to the state average and get the pupil services up. Because we know there's going to be a big issue coming up this next year, trying to get pupils who are in Hispanic families who feel they may be under the ice lady's eye to help get them to school. So I think you need to start thinking right now what you're going to do about filling those community services people and the at-risk coordinators that can speak Spanish and can drive and can go hold the hands of these parents who are very scared. So this is an area where I wish you could show some indication. I missed it when I was on the board for 4 years, that there was no indication on this report of where a new position was being created. It just sort of showed up and you didn't have any idea. And there was no indication where a position was being retired, which means it doesn't show up on the, what FICMAC comes and they want to see how you develop your budget. They want to see a position control document in the HR. And what you should be looking at is for this position control document and how you're changing it. Because when you vote to create a half of a management position, you're changing what the position control is. You may not realize it. I didn't realize it, but it's extremely important for how the budget is done and what money is actually spent on what services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Are there any other speakers who would like to say something on the consent agenda? Didn't see any comments from the board? And if not, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Conley and a second by trustee DeFazio to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I could just take a moment to thank Tara for the work she's done over the past, I think, 5 years as Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Appreciate the work and the passion you've put into it. So thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 6, review and action. First, item A, approval and adoption of resolution number 02071025, approving the exercise of the option to purchase real estate property. Superintendent Bear would present.
Yes, first some initial comments, and then Dr. Westover is going to make a presentation. So just as a reminder, our team has been intentional and strategic in every step of our housing work. From the beginning, our shared goal has been clear: to ensure this project supports our staff without becoming a burden on the general fund. That's why at a special meeting in March, the board established short-term criteria for success, and those are our criteria we've been focused on during this time. One of the biggest challenges we face is the annual $1.9 million land lease on this project. It's a major cost driver, and reducing or eliminating that ongoing expense is key to making this project financially sustainable for the long term. Not taking action now allows a known problem to persist. This housing project is too important a community investment to allow for that to happen. We're not moving forward lightly. We've been actively engaging with legal experts. Clarissa Kennedy, our land use and real estate attorney from Dennis Wolliver and Kelly, is here in the audience tonight in case you have any questions specific to that. We've been talking to land use professionals, real estate developers, and affordable housing advisors to inform every step of this process. Finally, I want to acknowledge that the board's ongoing commitment to transparency and public dialogue. While certain elements such as negotiations need to occur in closed session to protect the district's financial interests, this conversation has not been hidden. Since January, when the board approved the option to purchase the land under the staff housing, we've discussed financing strategies through February and March, and in April, we approved the CEQA exemption necessary to support this path forward. And so as a kind of cap on this, tonight's action is the next logical step in a thoughtful, public, and purpose-driven process. So with that, Rebecca.
All right, good evening, trustees. I'll be presenting on the land purchase for staff housing this evening, specifically for MVW at the Sevens. So as an overview or recap, our staff housing is a 144-unit housing community, which is a collaborative project between MVWSD, the City of Mountain View, and Miramar Capital. And it opened this February 2025. Construction was funded through voter support of Measure T in 2020. And we currently rent 123 BMR units to our employees. 20 units are reserved for the City of Mountain View employees. 51 are currently filled, and residents qualify and rent under income guidelines. One thing we wanted to highlight is that it's been a very positive experience for our staff. Staff housing is a life-changing experience for our employees, and we had a couple of quotes that we wanted to share. Since moving into my apartment, I've been overwhelmed with gratitude. The warmth and support from the staff have been so welcoming and meaningful. Everyone has been so welcoming and cooperative, and I truly feel valued as part of this community. This was from a clerk or a technician. Since living at the Sevens apartments, I have felt very comfortable. The quality of the apartment, my peers becoming my neighbors, and the sense of community has been a wonderful aspect. I don't see myself going anywhere else. This is from a teacher at Graham. Since moving into my apartment, I've been very grateful to shorten my commute and have more time to focus on planning and also my mental and physical health. I'm lucky to be a part of a welcoming and kind community of people who want to support teachers and in turn support students. And this was from a teacher at Mistral. We've had some challenges. Some of the challenges are honestly because this was an ambitious and complex initiative. This is one of the few teacher housing projects in the state. Currently, we do not own the land under the development. The land lease is limiting and expensive. It costs us, as Mr. Bayer mentioned earlier, $1.9 million annually, which escalates over time based on CPI between 2% and 4%. So this could total $380 million over the 55-year term. Compare that to if it's district-owned land of what we are looking at purchasing tonight. So responding to these challenges, the land lease was an option available at the inception of the project. There was not an option to purchase the land at the time. We need greater control over this long-term asset. So having control over it increases the long-term viability of the project and puts us in complete control of the property as landowners. This spring, the Board of Trustees engaged real estate experts and attorneys, and we discussed the potential property purchase and potential funding sources at the February 13th and March 20th meeting. We also discussed what short-term success would look like. What are our goalposts that we're aiming for MVWSD at the Sevens at the March 27th meeting? The 3 criteria that were set out is we want to fill the available housing units. We want the housing project to become self-sufficient, and we want board meeting time to be spent on student learning as opposed to on teacher housing or staff housing. So this is a milestone step in accomplishing all 3 of those goals. The land purchase is the first step in having autonomy over our staff housing. It eliminates the $1.9 million annual escalating costs and gives us greater control over the property. It enables greater financial flexibility and long-term stability. So the district's purchase price for the land will be $53.3 million. It will relieve MVWSD of any ground lease payments, either past or present. So that's inclusive in this price. Funding for the purchase will come from a combination of current MVWSD funds and financing without affecting current student programs and services. Up to 29 million will be funded from previously identified facilities and capital outlay funds, as well as funding for Measure T projects that will be put on pause. So again, this was discussed at previous board meetings. These funds cannot be used for teacher salaries. These are specifically for facilities. The remaining balance will be financed through certificates of participation, which are similar to a loan. It's important to note that this type of loan doesn't place additional burden on property owners within the district. This also gives us the ability to lower our monthly payments of debt service. Remember, going back to that 1.9 million that we owe right now for the land lease, this would reduce that because we would be taking out less our yearly payment would be less with the COP. So it would give us more flexibility with our rents.
I'll just add it'd be over a shorter duration of time. As
Yes, and also over a shorter duration of time. So in addition to looking at purchasing the land, we've also been working on other ways we can increase the longevity of staff housing and stability. So we requested and the city approved an amendment to the BMR threshold for this project from 120% AMI to 150% AMI, or area median income. This enables 23% more employees to qualify, which was self-reported in March 2025. Each step that we've taken has been intentional, informed by staff surveys and then experts that we've been consulting. We have also worked to establish a dedicated nonprofit entity, the MVWSD Residents Corporation, which has also been discussed in previous board meetings. This is a separate and dedicated board that will oversee staff housing, which will allow district leadership to stay focused on its core mission of educating students. Again, going back to those 3 items that the board set for short-term success. So the recommendation tonight, this is a strategic investment that ensures below market rate housing for employees while reducing future operating costs. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase sale agreement with Mountain View Owners LLC for the land under staff housing.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
So I think the board understands what you mean, but I would like you to make a clarification. When you say the $3.5 million is used to cover all of the cost of the ground lease and any other costs associated with the lease, could you explain exactly what you mean by that?
Yes. So during the course of construction, there is a land lease, and then there is also a land lease during the period where residents are living now. So that amount during the construction land lease, as well as the months that our residents have been there, are now removed.
And what did that amount to roughly?
1.8 million during the course of construction and 800,000 during occupancy.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Trustee Conley?
Thank you, President Lambert. Thank you for the presentation, Dr. Westover and Superintendent Bear. So the COP itself, we've talked about the COP in past meetings. You showed us some different spec'd out payments on the COP and what it would be. What do we secure the COP against in this situation?
So the COP is secured against district-owned property.
Does it have to be specific property, or it's just generally district-owned property?
District-owned property.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions? Okay, we'll take comments from the public now. First, I have Joanna Doria.
Hello. I just want to start off with saying that I grew up in Mountain View all my life. But as far as I can remember, I started off in Thurkoff. I went to Crandon, Los Altos High, and I even went to San Jose State. So I do know what long commutes are like, especially when it's during rush hour. I just want to say that as someone who's graduated college in 2024, I have experienced COVID during like peak, high school years, senior year, prom, all that stuff, online college, stuff like that. And I have a major in software engineering. So that's really fun and all. But when I graduated, unfortunately, it's not a lot of positions for my major in general. It was very competitive, it was very hard, and I was lucky to come over to the district office, which I really appreciate. And I really do love this job, and I really do love being able to help the people and help the community who I literally raised me when I was a kid. Um, this housing project has been super beneficial for me. Um, I I've been kind of struggling with money, but that's a separate topic. But it definitely helps cut down on the gas prices since that's super expensive lately. It has helped me maintain like lower mileage on my vehicle, which is also really nice for me in terms of maintenance, which it can be really costly as well. It has provided me the opportunity to be uh, what's it called? Like on my own, independent, because I know right now, like everything's super expensive in terms of renting. And I was actually looking to rent outside of Mountain View because even though I love Mountain View, I actually really wanted to stay here. I saw the pricing and I was like, it's impossible. It is completely impossible, even on the current pay that I get. So once I found out about the opportunity to move into the sevens, stay in Mountain View, I'm literally a mile and a half away from my parents, which is super nice. Um, I took it because it's like not only the cheapest price that I could get in terms of quality, in terms of community, in terms of like just when you step out the door, the amenities you get, the beautification of the area, like that was the best that I could get. It was either that or spending the same amount of money on a studio in like, I don't know, San Bruno. It was really weighing the two options. So having this housing project done when I came here, super lucky, but I really appreciate it because it really has made a big difference in terms of my mental health and my physical health. So I really do appreciate just the overall opportunity that this provides, especially for people of my generation, because well, my generation are now going to be the new adults. So I really do, you know, appreciate all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you say your last name so everybody gets it right and your
Doria.
Doria, so I did get it right. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Edward Andrada.
Hello, I was a little well prepared, but I would like to read something that I submitted. And it's Dear Mountain View Wisman SD leadership, I'm writing to express my sincere appreciation for the housing that Mountain View Wisman has so generously provided for the employees like myself. First and foremost, thank you for demonstrating such care and concern for your teachers and staff. It is rare to see a school district take such a meaningful step to support its personnel, not just as employees, but as people. Your commitment to our well-being is truly commendable. Because of this incredible opportunity, I have been fortunate to live near my workplace. This proximity has been a tremendous financial blessing, but beyond that, it has allowed me to serve the district more effectively. As a proud member of the MOT department, I have been able to respond to 3 off-the-clock emergency calls. Living nearby has enabled me to quickly assess situations and act as the eyes and ears for my director while he's on his way from his home to the school site. Being so close is never feels like an inconvenience or a chore. To assist after hours, it feels like a privilege. I understand how important it is to address urgent matters promptly so that our school can operate at their best, minimizing disruption to the education of our dear students. Living in Mountain View Wisman SD housing has been also fostered a wonderful sense of community. I've enjoyed getting to know more of my colleagues outside of work and seeing them relaxed and happy, living near where we all serve. Our friendly greetings and mornings or evening chats have added such more warmth to my daily routine. Many of us have shared how this move has been a major change from our previous living situations, a complete 360 in the best way possible. While naturally, no new building is without minor challenges, this have been small and understandable, and they pile in comparison to the incredible benefits of living in such a thoughtfully designed and well-located home. Most of all, I am deeply grateful for the comfortable home this housing has provided for my wife and my fur baby and myself. Thanks for the opportunities afforded by the district and by the generosity in creating this housing. I feel proud and honored and fortunate to be part of the Mountain View Wisman School District community, a place I am proud to call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Andrada. Next speaker is Anu Gill.
Hi, sorry, I'm used to speaking to 5-year-olds, so I'm a little nervous here. Before I moved into the sevens, I was paying about 2,300 just for a 2-bedroom. And before that, in Santa Clara, I was paying about 3,000 for a 1-bedroom. And I'm fortunate enough to have, and privileged enough to have my parents help me out. But ever since I moved to the sevens, I've been independent and not relying on them. And it's great because I live 5 minutes away from work. I used to spend a good amount of money on a pet sitter just for my dog. And now I can just come home and he's fine staying until my contract hours. And I was also a little nervous about seeing my coworkers every day at work or coming from school and then seeing them in the sevens, but it's actually been really nice just meeting uh, other dog owners and then just having people help me out, especially I'm just me in my apartment and people are willing to always help out there. It's just a really nice community and my mental health has improved. I'm able to use the amenities, just being outside in my own space and just the comfort of living in there has been really just overall positive experience. And I'm really grateful for the sevens. And it's hard living as a 27-year-old in the Bay Area, especially. But yeah, I'm really grateful for the sevens and everything it's brought me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. Next speaker is Raquel Hernandez.
Hi, everyone. I hope this us being here has shown you how great this situation of living on the sevens has been for all of us. And we have more people, but they couldn't attend. But thank you for the presentation because I hope this presentation really clears enough of the air from doubts or the public who is against this project. And our intention in coming here was to show you, the community and parents, how great has this project has been to us. And as one of my coworkers said, how much she was paying in rent, I was paying $3,500 in rent, and by myself. Because my mom lived with me and it was really hard for me to keep up. I've been in Mountain View for the last 14 years and it's always been high rent and with the salary, which is not bad, but it's not enough to live day by day. With this opportunity, I've been able to do so much and just come to work walking. Just many of the things that have been added to my lifestyle, just walking, exercising, going up the stairs, down the stairs, meeting all my coworkers, seeing them with their dogs, with their kids, all these families. One of the things that I really want to emphasize is there have been some challenges, laundry, mail, and everything, but we have worked on them, and we knew since the beginning. Every one of us knew this was going to happen. We were aware of all these things, and whoever says that they're not addressed or whatever, I don't know where that's coming from, because we knew since the beginning and we've been working on it. And right now everything is been working fine. We have washers and dryers. The mail office is been working on the keys and everything. It's almost done. But what I wanted to just say is that as a community, as co-workers, as the district, we've been working together to get these all issues fixed. Thank you so much to all of you for your hard work. And I wish the public can be more kind with you guys, because you have been working really, really hard. And I wish they can see that and they can appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this topic? Don't see any. Does the board have any comments? I don't see any. Do I have a motion?
I have some comments. Yeah, I think in kind of considering this, and we've deliberated over this over a long period of time, I think the compelling thing to me, right, was I kept going back to, does this action make sense here, was eliminating like the ongoing expense that we have here for the ground lease, turning something that was like recurring and escalating into effectively like a fixed appreciating asset that we have, I think is pretty compelling. Like the numbers, the future is uncertain. We don't know how things are going to shake out on that, but I think it's still, I think it's not the perfect price that I would like. I'd like to always get everything as low as we can, but I think on net, it really is a good deal for us, a good, you know, we negotiated in good faith with our counterparty, and I think they met us at a reasonable place. It's going to better enable us to keep this affordable and make more people able to access this incredible opportunity that I think we're starting to finally, as it comes online and we go through the growing pains, like we're getting the green shoots of a really like beautiful community that's being built here. And I'm really proud of the work we've done. And then finally, we just having the land and the building, we get more general strategic control over what we do and how we develop this going forward. We get flexibility. We can choose how we're going to work with it. We can manage it as we need to in a much more flexible way. So like, I think this is overall, I think the right choice for us to make given the situation we are in, the available options we have. So.
Thank you. Trustee Henry?
And I'll just add to that, you know, I think I've said before that several of us have said that if we were rewinding time 5 years, there are certain things we wish had been done differently. But we deal with the situation we are in right now. And since this group of 5 has been aboard together since December, I think it's been a goal of all of us. It's certainly been one of my goals to make the best of this situation. And I believe that buying this land is a key piece of making the best of the situation and being able to actually fulfill the original goals of having everyone who's here have a place that you're proud to live in and a place that is, you know, is financially stable for you and for the district, and purchasing the land that allows us to have more flexibility in the rents, that combined with the changes recently approved to change the upper limit of income will open up even more, open this up to even more of our staff. I think another, I believe this was a common goal, it was certainly one of mine coming in December, as we moved through looking at this housing project, was to do as much of the discussion of and analysis of this project in public as we could. And I believe we have done that. We approved the option in a public meeting, including the public, the purchase and sale agreement form attached. We discussed options on financing in more than one meeting. We've had a study session on staff housing. We've worked through the process of creating a separate board for the housing project in public. And over the course of the last 6 months, I feel comfortable that we have done as much to have all of that out in front of the public and the community as possible, except for the actual price negotiations. So I am in support of approving this purchase tonight.
And I think it's also important to note that there are a lot of new key players. We involved many more experts in our process in trying to make the best decision moving forward. And I loved hearing the stories today. They resonated so much with me when I'm also a teacher. And so in my 20s, coming in at that pay scale, it's difficult to survive here in the Bay Area in your 20s and you're young and you're just starting to get out there on your own. And I also got my start with subsidized housing
in the city. So it was a big game changer for me to allow me to build my own little nest egg and cushion so that I could look forward to things like getting married and having children. And I believe that this process that we've started on and us moving forward is going to allow the opportunity for more staff to have the same thing that all of these people talked about today. And so if we can open that up to more people and have more people move in and really fill these units, that's a really good benefit to purchasing the land.
Trustee Conley?
Thank you, President Lambert. I appreciate all of the comments of my colleagues, and they've laid out a lot of the process that we've gone through in the last 6 months. I really want to focus on the purpose of this project and why we're here. Thank you for coming here to speak to us tonight. We also received a letter from community members at the Sevens back in June 24th. I have to tell you, like, I want to read the beginning of it, but if I read this when I'm feeling down, and then I have a little cry, and then I feel better and move on. But it was truly the heart of why we have pursued this project. It says, "Dear board members, administrators, and parents, we, the community at the Sevens, would like to take this opportunity to express our deepest gratitude for your vision, dedication, and support in making the affordable housing for teachers and staff at the Mountain View Wisman School District a reality. Living at Mountain View Wisman the Sevens has been a profoundly positive and transformative experience. Your commitment to supporting educators and staff, not just employees, but as people, has provided far more than a place to live. It has provided peace of mind, financial relief, and a renewed sense of purpose and community." If you're interested in reading the full letter, please submit a public records request. We're happy to share it. But I think, it's been a long journey to get here. It hasn't been smooth. There were issues opening and that transition, and I appreciate the community's work with everyone involved to make sure that people have what they need and that it's a wonderful place to live. It also was not a smooth journey getting this off the ground. It began before I came onto the board. The agreement was negotiated before I was even elected, but we are here now in a position where we can take an action that will not only make this more financially sustainable in the future, but also lower the rents, hopefully, so that we can invite even more of our teachers and staff into this community to live. We ask a lot of our teachers and staff. We give you our children every single day and ask you to care for them, to give them your energy, your commitment, to inspire them to be good people in the world, to take care of each other in our community. And at the very least, we can try and figure out a way to make sure that all of our employees, as much as possible, have a high quality, a wonderful place to live, that they can get to school easily, that they have what they need. I think that the voters of Mountain View supported teacher housing when they voted for our bond back in 2020. And I remember the polling that we did before we even went to the ballot. And one of the things that ranked the very highest when people were polled across our community was providing housing for our teachers and staff. Because as a community, we also care. We know that every moment we invest in the people who are taking care of our children, we are also investing in our children. So thank you for everything that you do every day. Please let us know if there are any issues or concerns. We want to make sure that it continues to be a positive place, and we want to continue to move forward on this project and make sure as many people can access it as possible.
Any additional comments? We have a motion?
Can I just highlight that there are two motions necessary here, right? One for the purchase sale agreement and then one for the resolution regarding the COPs.
You want to do both of them at the same time?
Why don't we do each of them separately?
I move to approve resolution number 02-071025, approving the exercise of the option to purchase real property and the acquisition of the real property commonly referred to as 699 North Shoreline Boulevard, Mountain View, California, 94043.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Henry and a second by trustee DeFazio to approve and adopt the resolution number 02-071025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Should we do a roll call vote, President
I'd
Lambert?
like to do that. Okay. Trustee Conley?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Trustee DeFazio?
Aye.
And trustee Lambert? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Move on.
Right, and the second is the resolution for the COPs.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board on the resolution of intent for the board of the trustees of Mountain View Western School District to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of tax exempt obligations? Do we have any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Don't see any. Any comments from the board? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 01071025. The resolution of the intent of the Board of Trustees of Mountain View Wisman School District to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of tax exempt obligations.
Second.
A motion by trustee DeFazio will also do this independently, or roll call. Motion by trustee DeFazio, second by trustee Reed to approve the resolution of intent of the Board of Trustees of the Mountain View Wisman School District to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of tax exempt obligations. Trustee Conley?
Aye.
Trustee Reed?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Trustee DeFazio?
Aye.
And trustee Lambert? Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, with that, we move on to item 7, future board meeting dates. By the way, thank you, board members. Future board meeting dates, next is, well, we have a August 10th board retreat, August 21st, September 4th, and September 18th, we have regular board meetings. Any final comments?
One of those should be 2025.
Yeah, I'll just point out as well, trustee DeFazio mentioned that the second date there should be August 21st, 2025.
Any final comments on that? Nothing? We'll adjourn the meeting at